It died. It died. Uh-oh.
Oh, they're going to bring out the real one.
I
That was
know.
a dead
The
one.
megaphone. You'll be able to hear that. This one? Good evening, everybody. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Town Hall. We're going to go ahead and stand and say a moment of silence, and we'll say the pledge.
No, it's part of it.
Oh.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is anybody taping?
Are we allowed to?
Huh?
Are we allowed to?
It's a town hall.
Or can we just do it off of?
You can just do it off the YouTube. Okay. Everyone, tonight we have with us Greg Smith. He is the gentleman who is trying to fix the mess of the gate system that we are in. We thought it was best to bring him here so he can explain to everybody how this mess has started, where the mess is, and how we're climbing out of this mess. And I have asked him to be just brutally honest and tell you the whole shebang, from the rooter to the tutor. Okay? So, is it more comfortable for you to sit there and talk, or do you want to get up at the podium?
I'm a big boy.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to hand him the mic, and he can start explaining. We just had some training. It was very good. It's very user friendly on our end. Very user friendly. So I'm going to.
As she said, my name is Greg Smith. I'm the owner and operator of ASE Integrations, as well as All Seeing Eyes Security. We're based out of Tarpon Springs, as well as Tampa, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Georgia, parts of Atlanta. I came on last year. Y'all noticed the exit barrier arms, which are a lot slower than your new one or your front ones, were replaced in close to October of last year. That was what I was originally hired to do. You had a gate company that did the entry gate system. Then they hired my company to do the exit gate system. You had a company that was in charge of your camera system, a company that was in charge of your access control system, an IT company that was in charge of your database, and a company that's in charge of your visitor management. It's been a blast. So, with the new board, we came up with a plan to at least eliminate half of those. So my company, yeah, it's been a blast. I'm drinking more. So my company is now in charge of the entry, the exit, the access control, the database management, as well as those fun-filled BAI readers that read your stickers. You probably noticed a few of my guys. You probably had to dodge them. We've been up front. We've been working through it and whatnot, trying to get this fixed. Few issues that we've run into. We had to replace all of the electrical wiring. It was completely out of code. Whenever the subdivision was built, they utilized the same type of standard for the state of Florida on the low voltage code based in 1993. We cannot do that. So you'll notice on the resident side, there's a brand new enclosure. We separated the high voltage, the low voltage. It's air conditioned. We actually installed a new access control panel. We've installed all new wiring. We've resurge protected everything, so no more lightning strikes. We also have a service contract with you guys. Your subdivision actually has a designated service tech who only lives about 45 minutes from here. You can't miss him, fluffy, black hair, kind of looks like Jason Momoa if you ordered him off the Wish. His name is Ronnie. He knows his stuff. He's been a technician for 12 years. He is your designated service tech. When something happens, we have a 24-hour turnaround period. We will be here. Today, We just put back on another barrier arm that was hit through the resident. Just so y'all know, the resident and visitor barrier arms in the past 3 months have been hit 12 times. You're getting your money's worth on my service contract. That is something that the board is actually working on right now. So there is actually, I believe that they do have a current fine that is actually, that's $250. It's actually going to go up due to the fact of, well, inflation. And the barrier arms that you now have, you'll notice your resident, the entry side is held on by electrical tape, pure hatred, and water. Those things are roughly about, just so you know the severity of hitting those, they're about $600 a piece. The exit side is roughly about $450 a piece if you wanted to do the cool color change. So because of the fact of the severity of every time they get hit now, like the last time somebody hit that barrier arm at about 32 miles an hour, yeah, they're not meant for that. We bent it back, but the lights don't work. So we are in the process of working on that. You also notice a few other things. The exit is a lot slower than the entry. Yes, so when we were hired on, we gave 3 options. We gave the low end, which luckily you didn't go with that, it was actually just a guy holding the stick. We gave the mid-grade, which is what you see out there, and then what you guys have is called MAC BAs at the front. Those are high grade. They're very expensive. They're programmable, I love them. It was decided due to the fact it was the end of the fiscal year with the budget and everything else not to go with those. They went with the Lift Masters. As you can see, there's a difference. Right. So that was whenever we sold it back in September. The board and I have discussed changing them out again, but the problem is, as I've told them, we want to get everything in full operation so that you guys aren't screaming at me that everything's not working. Once everything's in full operation, we're going to continue letting those barrier arms operate as they do currently. And then as we go through the next few months, then that's going to be something that's being visited later on. The reason that they are slower is because they're classified as motor driven, where your entry are spring driven. So it releases a spring, they pop up. Mine is motor driven straight up. I am trying to make them go faster, but I want them to last longer. So I'm trying to make them last as long as I can. Another thing is your database. So each resident gets a barcode. With that barcode, you're tied in with your name, your significant other's name, address, all that kind of fun stuff. Y'all got struck by lightning in January, and it blew your old system, which was classified as a system called DSX. DSX has been around. It was one of the first access control systems to come out, worked on a thing called binary, which is zeros and ones. Had an on-site computer server, which was serviced by another company. When it blew, the entire database went with it. So,
That is January 2022.
yes.
That's how long it has not been operational.
So, with the board's help and the grace of God, we are now down to about the last 1,700 credentials, hand typing them out, because they had no way of computing them. So the guards, you come, you pick up a barrier or a code, they write your information. Yeah, we're typing all that up. So my database girl got a raise. But we are in the process of finalizing that. Once that is finalized, the database will actually be utilized by the board in order to make sure that you're registered, add any kind of notations. If you're going to be out for a couple months, you can actually contact the board. They can put that notation inside the access control system to let the board and the guards know in case somebody goes, oh, I'm here to do this. So that way that'll be tracked. Your visitor management system, which is who you guys use for visitors, is still owned and operated by Gate Centric. There was a contract that was signed with them that is a binding contract, and my lawyers aren't that good. So we are waiting till that contract is over, and then we'll actually probably be shifting over March. I'm sorry?
When is it over?
March. March of 2020, 4. Yeah, I didn't sleep a lot. Once that is done, we're dealing with options, either going through my system, which actually utilizes a smartphone for each resident. You guys will get an app. You can add your visitors, and it gives your visitors a little pass on their phone, or they can print it off on email, or you can call the guard, and they'll let them through. We're also maintaining your camera system now. So we're out here, according to your service contract, we come out once a month. We check the camera system, we grease all the wheels, we clean the cameras off, we verify checklists and everything else. Previous hurricane, for instance, your service technician came the day before the hurricane. He has a full checklist he has to go through. Then we put the arms in service mode, which is in up position. We turn them off to protect any kind of storm variant. Once the storm has passed, we come back the following day. We do a checklist, we put him back into operation, and he has to watch the system operate for at least an hour before he can finalize the checklist and send it off. For every storm, as far as a hurricane, if it's a Category 2 or more, we are required to do this. So this will keep down any kind of storm damage, keep down surges, everything else. We've also installed full electrical surge, low voltage surge, computer surge, and IT surge, and background surge. So you can take a lightning strike now. We are still in the process of working on it as much as we can. It has been quite an experience. But the board is able to call me 24/7, 365 days a year. We have a continuous on-call tech. We have a 24 to 48 hour requirement by the contract that was signed to show up and fix whatever is done. Of course, special circumstances, we have to order a part or something like that. But we are in the process of taking steps to remedy basically everything that was done, was not done. There was some money that was wasted, and there was some money that went to the right things. But now currently, your system is going to be in operation very soon, 100%. And then once the visitor management situation is taken care of, that's going to be something else that myself as well as the board is going to handle. If you guys see me out on the road, you guys see me or one of my techs working on anything, if you have a question, feel free to roll down your window and ask, as long as it's not holding up traffic. My guys all very understand your site, they understand the system, they're not afraid to tell you how everything works. If you have any questions about that, or if you guys have any concerns, I'm out here at least once a week fixing a barrier arm, so you're more than happy. I drive a black Dodge 1500. If you see it and you're out there and you watch me cussing, please come ask me if you have any questions. My company is very open policy. We hide nothing. We enjoy what we do, and we're going to try our best to make sure that this does not happen to you guys ever again. And as far as the board's concerned, they've been willing to work with us. The price that we actually charged you guys was at cost for the upgrade, because the fact I felt horrible. You guys are not paying as much as you would think you were for what you're dealing with, mainly because of the fact that we want to build that relationship and continue on. And I think this is going to work for everybody. And then once the visitor management system comes into play, I think you guys are really going to have a very nice working system. Thank you. So does anybody have any questions, concerns,
Oh, I have questions.
rants, raves? I love it. Yes, ma'am.
Can you come up here? I can go ahead and get I'll go ahead.
My favorite part.
Paul Harrison, Unit 4. Question for you. You have a contract with us now?
I do.
How long is it for?
24 months.
And can you tell us what it's going to cost us a month, a year?
$150 a month.
Okay. And you said right now you're going to try to keep it at cost, whatever the cost is?
It was, let me,
To have all the work that he's doing and continuing doing, plus putting in all the barcodes, 1,900, needed to have take them out and put them in, however it was supposed to go. The whole thing has cost us $7,800. And that is coming out of reserves because it was considered a capital improvement. But $7,800 and $150 a month for the maintenance agreement. We've never had a maintenance agreement. So this is a maintenance agreement to fix the arms. Every time an arm broke previously, that came right out of pocket. So.
On your maintenance agreement of $150 a month, 24 months, we have it for, I assume after 24 months, there'll be a reevaluation of what the maintenance cost will be?
No.
No?
My price only goes cheaper.
Okay. Thank you. I'm trying to think if I have another question to ask.
So as my service agreements work, we started at 150 because we did not do the full installation. So now that we're doing service with you, we are able to slowly, intermittently bring everything up that breaks to code. As that goes to code, the service agreement will go down based upon the needs. Right now, 150 because of the fact that we're coming out about once a week, once every other week. Once the system is fully operational, everything starts getting nitpicked, fixed, everything else. That's less time, less gas, less parts. So therefore, we're not here to be rich. It's basically here to pay my guy's hourly rate and the gas for him to get here. So, yeah, it will not go higher.
Question to you, Debbie. Every time somebody goes through the gate, knocks it down, why can't the board give that person a 30-day suspension, privileges, and charge him or her or whatever is...
Right now, we're going to hit them in the pocket, and that's going to be the old price was $250. The new price to replace that arm is $650.
That's what it should be.
Right, and that's what we are going to go ahead and vote on and hopefully pass that $650. If somebody hits that arm, they need to pay for it because now there's lights all on it. It is more computerized. They have to come out, they have to fix it. It's not an easy task.
So we're going to be keeping the old inbound gates?
The old inbound gates, yes.
Because they're breakaways, right?
Yes and no. So let me explain a breakaway. So the variation you got is a Generation 2 Mac. They're not the Generation 3. So yes, they break away, meaning they break off. They come off. The problem is whenever you hit a barrier arm at an average of 10 miles per hour, or anything 10, 8, 7, that barrier arm is taking the brunt of that exact same force. So as you could have seen whenever that was hit the last time, it snaps off and it hits the gate and it comes down. There's also a wiring harness in that. That wiring harness can only take about 2 breaks. Once that wire harness takes a break, after that last one, it's no good. It's done. They are breakaway to an effect that they break this way. They're a tougher variation. They're actually a 18-fold aluminum, so they're very thick, and they're all the way around. They're hollow inside. So that's why those are able to take breaks as much as they are. But in regards to the fact of classifying them as true breakaway, no. It's still going to cause a varying amount of damage depending on how fast they're hit.
Are the outbound gates breakaways?
No, they're break-offs. No, what they do is, it is actually classified as a break-off. So they're actually held on by nylon bolts that actually are semi-threaded, but whenever they're hit, the nylon bolt is supposed to strip and then actually allow for that barrier arm to break off in a non-breakable manner. The problem is that you have with those is you'll notice that they're a little bit smaller, but they're octagon shaped. They're not hollow. So it's going to hurt when you hit those. The reason that we installed those was because they are a little bit slower, by about 2.7 seconds slower. So the reason I installed those instead of the thinner ones like what you have at the front is because I anticipated them getting hit.
I'd like to thank you very much for answering the questions, Greg, and good luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Is anybody else?
Denise Ambrose, Unit 3. My question is, when people come in and they say where they're going, and they say they're coming to my house, but I don't know who they are, and I get notified that so-and-so is coming to my house, how do I say I don't know them?
Okay, so it's fine. We were just talking about this. Okay, so currently, as I said, Gates Entry is your company that manages your visitor database. However, that being said, we are actually in the process of working through guards training. Not only am I going to train them on my system on how to make sure residents have proper information for the resident side, we are also working on new processes and protocols in order for the visitors to be processed as far as license plate information, double checking, going through that. So myself, Mr. West, and another gentleman from code enforcement, because I'm horrible with names, are actually going to be retraining a lot of the guards on allowing vendor access, allowing visitor access, time scales of when vendors can come in. With the new system, a vendor now can be told or can not get access between specific times, which the board and I have been discussing as far as the vendor schedule. So we can actually keep vendors from coming in on weekends, we can keep certain things going out. We're going to start working on those protocols, but we're also starting to work on a lot of the visitor management protocols and how those need to be handled more efficiently and more to protect your privacy as well.
Because that's a big problem that many of us, I think, have run into. And I called the guard shack, this was when it first started, and I said, there's someone coming here, but I don't know who, how do I tell you no? Well, we don't have that ability in the system. So I'm like, well, okay, and well, whoever it was, then came to my house.
Right, and we were actually, so there was a young lady that was sitting at the picnic table whenever they're letting guests in. So they have to process the guest, verify where they're going, and then they got to look at the license plate as they open it up. So a young lady was sitting at the picnic table out there, clocking their speed. From the moment that the gate opens to the stop sign, there was quite a few people clocked at about 31, 32 miles an hour.
Wow.
So we're working on new protocols to alleviate a lot of that and try to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Right, and remember, we still have two systems. We have Gates Entry, and we can't get them to call us back. So I've seen people post that they call them. They ain't calling you because they don't call us. We're stuck in this contract. We know that. We know that people are logged in and they might be saying they're coming to you, but they're really going to you. We know that. But it's really not code enforcement's whole problem. They were given a very quick training by Gates Entry, and then they had to rely on each one to pass that training on down. So we are really hoping we're going to end this contract with them and move over to one entire system. I can tell you it was extremely user-friendly, very user-friendly. And that's where we're going with this. But yes, for the next months, until we can get out of this contract, you might have somebody logged in, and then they might not come to your house. Or you might have somebody logged into your house, but they're showing up at your house. We know that. There's not a whole lot we can do about it until we can transition over to a one entire system. So, yes, sir.
I'm Bruce Bolton, Unit 4, and I'm curious what our standing on the current contract is. What is the cost of alleviating it, if you will, and how much, basically what's it going to cost us to get out of this silly contract and get over to somebody that's good?
We're paying $700 a month.
And you would have to pay the full lease, I'm sure.
Yep, and when we came on in March, it was already automatic renewed. It's in their contract, it's an auto renew.
Okay.
So we plan on giving them notice the first of the year that we're not renewing with them.
Okay.
And
What's the cost for the new gate Sentry program?
the new system.
So my system is actually through a LiftMaster. It's called CAP system. It's a fully cloud-based interactive artificial style. It basically works between the relationship of the residents and the guards. Based on the size of the community, I will have to actually put a cost together for that. I can tell you it's not $700 a month. But basically because of the fact that it's not based on the amount of visitors, it's based on the amount of applications that are used. So, and also the amount of users. Some residents may go, I don't want any visitors. They may not download the app. Other residents may want to use the app. Other residents may go, man, I just want the guards to do it. So I've got to come up with a preliminary style. Also, there's other variations that come into play. If the residents, we can create different variations of access for the residents that I need to speak with on the board as far as different types of technology that actually exists now to alleviate a lot of the traffic flow for the guards. So there's a lot of different things. The good news is if and when we take over your visitor management, I hold 3 training courses for residents, 2 training courses for guards, and 2 training courses for the board. So we specialize in the system, we're certified in it, so if it does happen, everybody will have an opportunity, and then we also do have literature in PDF format, Word format, we can mail it to you, email it to you, so we try and make it as user-friendly as possible. But it just depends on what setup we go with for visitor management, based upon the price of that.
Thanks for taking care of that, and we appreciate having, I think all of us appreciate having a pro on board.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else with any questions? Ron?
Well, watching 6, Greg, they turn it off? Now it's on?
There we go.
Oh, Ron Washington 6, Greg, thanks for being here. Question, the current system we have, when we turned our list in, if people arrived here that weren't on our list, the guards were supposed to either call or turn them away, and that's not happening. Will that be the same with your system, that if we've got a list of people that we know can come in, my kids, contractors or whatever, and somebody comes in and asks my address and they're not on my list, will they be turned away? How is that going to be handled?
Yeah, so there in the system, on your phone app, you would actually have 5 different variations of guests. You have temporary, you have permanent, you have acknowledged, which means that it's a day. You have hourly, and then you have suspend. If there is a situation where you have a guest, you no longer want that guest to access your premises, you place them under the suspend. When they get the notification, because everything is done through a phone, an email, or something like that, or through the guard's computer, it's instantaneous. Once that person comes and requests for your information, the guard will look it up on the their side of the MyQ software. They'll pull up your name with all the notations, and it'll say guest suspended or guest allowed. So yes, they will be turned away. They will not be able to gain access.
Okay. One just quick follow-up question on that. I know currently not all visitors get asked the same questions. Will that be a part of your training with our guards, that each guard, when somebody's coming in, they're asked the same questions as the first line?
Yes, so there is actually a half-a-page checklist of standardized questions: name of the resident, address, your name, your tag number, driver's license number, as well as we also can add reasoning for visitation. So if there is a reasoning for the visitation, such as if you put in that request of, we would like reasoning visitation. Reasoning visitation means I'm here for home health, I'm here for family, I'm here as a friend, or I'm here to fix your plumbing. So you can actually differentiate reasons for visiting if needed.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Marcy.
Hi,
And
Marcy.
everyone. My question is, like, let's say somebody calls me that morning and they say they're coming over. How am I gonna tell the guardhouse, the guard shack, that I would like that person to?
Currently, you're still using the same system, so you would contact the
I'm not
guard.
using that system, it never worked for us, and nobody ever called us, so I'm sorry about that, and I feel bad for you guys, that you got stuck with it. I wish you could go after them if you could afford it. But
Yeah, I'm pro-
again, how we would, you know,
So-
somebody told me, like, I needed my refrigerator fixed. The guy said, oh, I'm coming right away. How do I tell that to, to the guard?
Currently,
shack?
you would just call the guardhouse and inform them that the company's name
Okay.
and
What
say.
about with your new system? How is that gonna work?
If and when it is implemented, you can do it on your cell phone, on the app.
On the
Put it
same
in-
day?
Yeah, and it's instantaneous.
Okay.
My entire system is not server-based, it's cloud-based.
Okay.
And because of the fact of the way your database is not only backed up on the cloud and communicates to the cloud, it's also backed up on my in-house server at my office, just for such an occasion. So anything and everything that transpires is immediate. Whenever you actually add a guest, if you put in their email address and create a guest pass, it will email that vendor their guest pass. And then they can actually show that to the guard as well.
Now, I have one more question. You're gonna have a camera on the way out and a camera on the way in?
Currently, the camera system that you have is still being utilized. We're not replacing it. We're actually taking care of it. So the camera system that you have right now is it's called an IC real-time camera system. No, you can't buy it at Sam's. It's actually a pretty good system. It's got a 10 terabyte internal hard drive. All of them are running at a 1280p with 4 megapixel frame rate. So what we're doing right now is we're actually trying to adjust the cameras for the proper views and to get the actual external views that is needed.
In other words, a license plate?
Yes. So we're in the process of trying to get that kind of to work the way we need it to.
Now, when we have a big group like for Friday's bingo, does every single person stops that comes from the outside that don't live here and
They
gets
should.
that information? And they also, like once they go outside, that gate is open, but I'm hoping that they have, because a lot of people are complaining of stuff being stolen. You don't know who stole it, could be somebody
Right.
that lives here, or, which is.
Yeah, I mean, currently, yeah, your
Shame
camera
on people
system.
our age doing that to other people our age.
People my age do it to me all the time.
Oh,
so.
I believe it. You got a lot more things that it's worth a lot more money.
Yeah, that's why I hate Miami.
Yeah. Yeah.
So your current camera system right now actually is recording. It's got a 45-day retention.
And how long does it stay on the, like if you look back?
45 days.
45 days.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry, I didn't hear that.
No, you're fine. So it's got a 45-day retention, which is actually really good. So mainly what we're trying to do is make sure that it stays that way, and we're trying to, so whenever we first got here, your cameras were a little foggy, so to speak. So there's actually a little trick. I don't know if you all have cameras at home.
Yes.
Rain-X. Put a little bit of Rain-X on that camera lens. Keeps it from fogging up, keeps the water from sticking on it, and it stays nice and pretty for 3 months.
Awesome.
So we come out here, if you see one of my guys with what looks like a deodorant bar, that's what we're doing. But yes, ma'am, so we are in the process. Those cameras have been recording, they do work. I wouldn't say they did. If they don't, I have no reason to lie to you. My wife's at home, so I can say the truth.
Well, I hope you can check up on her. I know friends that have it in the house.
No, she loves when I'm out late. No, the camera system actually is good. And the good thing is the NVR that you have, which is a network video recorder, actually can hold more cameras. So your expense, if y'all decide to add, if the board decides to add more cameras to the guardhouse, your expense is minimal. You're only actually paying for the camera and the labor. You're not spending that extra $1,800 minimum to buy another NVR and all that kind of horse crap. I made sure that you actually have the ability to expand with what you have and then also what you're getting. So the new system that you have now for your gates also allows you to expand if we wanted to do access control in the buildings. It allows for us to expand your camera system. So our thing is getting it set now to ensure as your community grows, as everything transpires, as issues change, inflation keeps going up, cars go missing, you know, we're making sure that we can keep up with the times, because your original system, DSX, was installed in 1993. It hasn't been popular since 1993. Nobody works on it. Just so you all know, and you can look it up, it's called DSX. You have to become a certified DSX tech. You have to pay $8,000, fly to Houston, Texas, take their training for 2 weeks, and you have to do it every 8 months. As long as you do that, you can buy their parts. I am one of 2 companies in the state of Florida and one of 3 companies in the state of Georgia that until 6 months ago held that license. It's not worth it. Yes?
Well, again, thank you for giving us a good opportunity to meet you, and everything you said, it sounds fantastic, and thank you for giving us a discount on the prices.
Oh yeah, well thanks for your patience.
And you're taking part of the blame, which is not fully your blame. It's a lot our previous board and the previous thing that we should get rid of by March.
Well, and that's the thing, is it's nobody's really to blame. I think that a lot of people, what you see is what we do for a living is very convoluted. You can come across a really good salesman and he can tell you, oh, you need this, that, and the third, and you don't. Gates are very simple. You need a brain, you need wires, you need the things to operate. That's it. And I think that a lot of the situation, especially with this community and other communities I see, is where you have companies that come in and say, oh no, you need that, this, and this. And I quite honestly think that you guys were a victim of that situation. And on top of that, a victim of people not answering their phones, like Gate Century. I've tried to call Gate Century because I had a question about their database. They didn't answer my call, and I know 3 of their technicians. So it's one of those things where you hire a company, they do what they're supposed to, and then they don't answer the phone. So then you hire another company, they sell you a bill of goods, they come out, they do it, they don't answer the phone. So I don't really want to blame anybody for anything. It's not really my style, plus I'm not trying to live that life. I think y'all were just a victim of bad circumstance. So it's not. I've read their contract. No. So Gate Century is classified as a self-using system. What that means is that once they install it, they get it up, they do their little 20-minute video training, you're on your own. And the only thing that they're responsible for is classified as host. So what they do is they host the network, they host the system, and then you utilize their database infrastructure to host and house your system. So your phone is connected to their system and it allows you to operate in that manner. But it is not actually a servicing contract, it is a hosting contract. Yeah, no, it's dirty.
And just so that you all know, DSX is kind of old school way. The cloud is where everybody is going because it's unlimited. And we should have been that way. We needed to be in the cloud, as they say. Yeah. Rich, did you have a question?
I've got a question for you and everybody sitting here. Thank you. Rich Stratton, Unit 3. On October 15th at 7:30 in the morning, I'm going to roll in with about 75 to 100 cars between a good hour and a half. Now, as cars come here, they're going to be loud. They're not going to be your basic Dodge car. They're going to be blowing cars. There'll be supercharged cars. So anybody coming and complaining, it's only going to be for a little bit. Okay, so you know.
Thank you.
It's for the car show. It's not for me. It's for the people here in this community that putting this on. And my only thing is, when they come through the gate, they're going to be kind of loud. They're not going to be decibels over 86 decibels.
I put a jackhammer next to these things.
Okay.
It's not going to do anything.
No, but the guard could, no problem, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I'm worried about that.
When's the car show?
October 15th.
Might come.
I would be here. It's going to be great. We're going to get a lot of stuff to give away.
Are you
55?
I can act 55.
We'll check his license. Thank you.
Does anybody else have a question for Greg?
We have one from YouTube.
Oh, a YouTube question.
Barbara Darnell, Unit 1. Her question is, how will it work, I'm assuming Greg's system we're speaking about, if the person is not on your list, do they turn away or call?
They're supposed to call. So you can, just so you all know, there are specific laws that is required to follow whenever you're dealing with a gate system. Guards do not have the ability to just flat out deny access because there is the, of course, it falls into the, can you prove they're not supposed to be here? So the guards have to call somebody. Anytime anybody comes through, the guards are either going to go based upon two things. They're going to go based upon the system, and they're going to go based upon a phone call. Now that doesn't say that the guards can enact martial law and tell the guy, all right, you got to turn around. I've watched people in subdivisions wait for somebody else to get access and they just haul butt through. So that's why, of course, yet again, we're utilizing the camera system that you already have to make sure that we can, if anybody does break the law like that, we can actually go back into the recordings and verify that they're caught.
And a nice feature to this system that we were showing tonight, so code enforcement, a few of them will have the app on their phone. They can actually, in an emergency situation, say nobody's at that gate, just say something happened, they can actually raise that gate, both sides from their telephone, without anybody having to go to that gate.
That's awesome.
A major emergency. So that is one of the nice things of it, and it is very, very user-friendly. I can just say that again, very user-friendly.
My wife can use it, so it's possible. I will tell you, and I love her to death. God knows I do. She has dealt with my crap for years. But no, she's strictly only done retail. So just so you guys can know, not to get into my personal life, but somebody who's never dealt with, she doesn't know how to use a computer. Bless God, she doesn't know. But it took me 6 hours of training, and she actually now works part-time for me as part of the database entry. That's how the system works, is that...
She doesn't have Amazon Prime?
No, she uses me. No, when my daughter moved down, she goes, oh, she wants this, can you order it? Well, can't you? No, I don't know how to use it. Okay.
Does anybody else have a question for Greg before we... Ron, did you have... Oh, sorry.
It's me again. Still in Unit 6.
Still there.
For you, Debbie, and the board, previously, a good number of years ago, just actually before COVID, when visitors came in, they had a white slip that they put on their dash. When they left, they turned that in. Are we going to be going back to something like that so the guard knows that somebody that has come in has actually left?
I got this one. So here's the thing about passes. Passes that you print off can be copied. They can be Xerox. They can be manipulated. That's why my system only deals in email, cell phones, and guards itself. So what we've created is it's not fully autonomous, but it's not fully needing a guard at the same time. The reason that I pulled away from doing printable passes is because of the simple fact, we do another complex, it's a commercial place called Citrasuco up Lake Wales. They had printed passes with one of my old systems. Somebody went in there and stole an 18-wheeler. I don't know how you pull that off, but they used a printable pass because it didn't have, they just changed the date. Went in, stole a truck, left. Luckily, they didn't know how to get it out of fourth gear, so they didn't go far. But after that happened, I'll be honest with you, I have steered clear of printable passes. I'm more into the realm of either something that is only on said person's cell phone, or only between the resident and the guard. And I think a lot of the issues will be resolved once I'm able to work more closely with the guards. Unfortunately, I've been working more closely with the technology and trying to get everything operate. Once that's done, I actually do know how gate entry works. I'm going to actually work with the guards, first shift, second shift, and beginning of third, maybe, it depends on how well I feel. But I'm going to work on that as well as with code enforcement to create better processes and to enforce the ones that you already have, because your processes now are actually really good. It's just because you've got to realize you are the second busiest subdivision I have out of 87 subdivisions I manage. You guys, on average, just resident-wise, the first day we installed the system without all the barcodes, I got 1,500 transactions in 12 hours.
Wow. We shop a lot.
Yeah, and good for you. I hope to be there one day. Yeah, well, I eat out more than I should, mostly at Circle K. No, so you got to realize the amount of traffic that you're getting on every given day, and that doesn't even include vendors, maintenance, everything else. The processes are there, it's just trying to narrow them down because the guards are trying. When I was putting up the gate today, like I said, 1 minute there was nobody there, next minute there's 12 cars lined up. So the guards are, of course, you got people honking because this is Florida, we're not patient. So, you know, they're trying to get everything through so mistakes are being made. And so what we're trying to do is streamline the process that you already have. And it's just something I got to work with.
Thanks, I understand it. So what I'm hearing is there's a definite process for coming in and making sure they're supposed to come here. There's not anything to verify that that person that came into Brookridge has left Brookridge. Am I understanding that correctly?
No, well, you've got the resident exit and then you have the visitor exit. So the visitor exit is where the guard is actually sitting there. They say, oh, hi, thank you, have a nice day. You know, and they are checking to an extent. Now, you do have to keep in mind, too, that exits out of a gated community are classified as required to be free egress, which means you cannot hold anybody from exiting. The guards can ask questions, but you have about, by code, you have roughly between 15 to 30 seconds, depending on the county, to allow egress out. You can keep people from coming in, except for residents, but you cannot keep people from coming out. So the guards are doing their best to check and verify, but unfortunately they are kind of stuck by the law in allowing people to a certain amount of time to leave.
Okay, because I know a lot currently it's somebody pulls up to the gate, somebody inside just flips the gate.
Yeah, that's my fault.
Door's not open.
No, I'm going to take the blame on that one. So because of the fact with the testing of the barcode reader and verification of so far the database, I'm not going to lie, that was a request by me because I didn't want to hold up traffic. That's why you'll notice the exit barrier arm right now is stuck in the open position. That's because I don't want y'all to be stuck. Like I said, I cannot keep you out of the subdivision. I have certain codes I have to follow with my low voltage license. I don't want to yell at the inspector or have him yell at me. So currently the way that it's operating is not the way it's going to continue to operate, but because of the fact of the laws that I have to follow, that right now is a request solely by me in the way that they're operating, and I apologize for that inconvenience. Yes, sir.
Is there anybody else? You got one question? Okay.
I've seen you on your motorcycle.
Not recently.
Okay, for a year.
3. Now on the outgoing side, now when I was in law enforcement, we had license plate readers.
Yes.
Would that happen here?
No.
No, too expensive?
Right now, we're trying to keep the expenditures down with what you have because of the fact of the expenses of last year. With everything that was sold, everything that was done, everything that wasn't working. So right now I'm trying to utilize all the equipment that you have now. Now that's not saying that there won't be in the future, but currently we want to make sure that everything that's in place is working at an optimal of 100% or at least 98%. And then once that's done, then of course we can revisit new technologies and what have you. But just for the ongoing the near future right now, it's mainly just making sure that we can get everything caught up and fixed. It's currently a problem.
Fair enough. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Oh, way in the back. You again?
You may have answered it, Greg, but I didn't hear you. Let's say a vendor comes in here, a landscape, he's doing 12 houses. Does he have to tell the gate the 12 houses he's going to?
That's up to the board and you. So I have subdivisions that he has to provide at least 3 addresses. I have a subdivision that they'll actually call the vendor's office and actually verify the vendor, that vendor is bringing somebody that's coming out for those. I also have another subdivision that only allows approved vendors. So they have to be on a list of approved vendors that have already been vetted by the board. If somebody tries to get an offshoot of one of those vendors or does not provide a vendor from that list, they will not be allowed access to the gate. River Strand in Bradenton does that. They only allow approved vendors. So it's really whatever flavor of the week you'd like to go with.
And I can tell you, I'm really not into the big brother stuff. You know, I think if you want somebody to come in, that's your business. If you don't want them to come in, that's your business too. Right? And that's why they also have 911. Right. So
what are you doing about the vendors?
we haven't come up, we haven't got to that point yet on the management side of it. But I'm really not into Big Brother coming.
Big Brother gets expensive too. There are a few options that we just discussed in regards to the vendors as far as either utilizing some sort of keypad code to track which vendors are coming in. We've also discussed barcodes with time limits. So the new system now, you can actually create a vendor list, give them a specific style of barcode. They're only allowed in from Monday to Friday from like 6 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock in the afternoon. There are different types of ways that we can handle it without being too controlling. I don't like being Big Brother because it's too work for me. I'm lazy, I am. That's why I started my own company. But there is no limit to what I can do, but there is a limit to what I will do. So it just kind of depends on, I can come up with a few different variations of things for the board, which I've already supplied them with a few, and we'll go from there.
Greg, I think in behalf of the whole Brookridge community, we thank you for coming out tonight, staying with us when you did, and answered all our questions that we had.
Oh, I'm happy to, and like I said, thank you. If we're needed to do this again, after everything's said and done, I'll be happy to do it again. I actually may bring my tech with me so that y'all can harass him because he is afraid in front of people. He's not a person. He's not a personable guy, so I love putting him in those situations. But like I said, we are an open policy company. I'm happy to be here as late as y'all need me to, as many times as y'all need me to answer any questions. I'm not afraid of it. And yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Linda Hartman, Unit 1. I know when the Gate Sentry was coming on board, there were a lot of the residents that were reluctant to use it. I've found it, I've not had any problems using it at all. But my question is, you talked like, one minute there wasn't any cars at the gatehouse, the next minute there were 12. Okay, somebody's got somebody coming in, they don't use the system, they have to stop and call. You know, I mean, I'm hopeful we can get more of the residents on board with it to use it. I know a lot are real computer, you know, or they don't have the cell phone type things, which will back up any incoming people. So that's just kind of my concern is the training to get more people on board with the new system.
Well, and that's why we offer the amount of training that we do. It's not just understanding how to use the system, it's to make you feel more comfortable in utilizing it. So I've noticed in the demographic of the ages between 40 and 63 on the average, those are the demographics of people that are more reluctant to download apps that they're not familiar with. They're more reluctant to actually use public Wi-Fi. They're more reluctant to actually utilize anything that they're not familiar with. So we've actually come up with, that's why I always make sure to inform everybody of the actual brand of the system, the software of the system, who utilizes it. It's a 256-bit encryption firewall unit. It is cloud-based. And then, like I said, we offer usually doing 3 town halls at a minimum. Now, of course, we'll offer to do more if and when the training is needed. But we make sure that, and I will have myself here, I'll have 3 of my technicians in the back, so anybody that needs help adding it or anything like that, that's what they do. I promise they will shower before. And we will make sure that we can help as many people as possible. So there is always a reluctancy, but I've noticed after we usually average 3 town halls, we usually have a usability of 87% of all communities.
Okay, great.
And that's usually across the board. Some are more, some are less, but your average is usually about 87% of users, downloads, and everything else.
Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Does anybody else have any questions before we see Greg off? All right, well, I just really want to thank you for coming out and the training that you gave us today, and finally getting some things straightened out, and just really appreciate your time. Yeah.
Thank you. It's all been fun. Thank you for dealing with us for the past, oh, yes ma'am.
Was there going to be a discussion on the back gate?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
But I do apologize for this taking so long of y'all's gate time. I mean, we've been here since October. I apologize. But we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Like I said, if you see me or one of my crew out there, we don't wear company shirts because, well, they keep messing them up. But feel free to ask any of us anything that you guys need. If you have any questions, concerns, rants, raves, we always appreciate it all. Thank you guys again so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, everybody. I'm going to just get through a couple of things. One is, and I'll talk about it really quick. The house on Fleetway. The house on Fleetway, I had called and for health concerns. Health as in not maintaining. That was not a violation that was found. So I called code, county code, for an unsecure and unsafe structure that's listed in the county code. They came out and they red tagged the house, meaning the house is condemned. But there's court dates pending, as you probably would understand. Brookridge also has served Fleetway because the HOA fees have not been paid in several years. So she has actually been served. It was recorded in the county at the clerk, and there is a 20-day requirement that that person has a right to say or send in what they want. So we are waiting for an official court date. So there's actually 2 court dates pending on that particular residence. I made sure to go ahead and go through with it because I could not go and fine somebody $100 for not cutting their grass and let a unsecure house in that condition maintain. It is not fair to the neighbors, it is not fair to the community, and that, my friends, is called selective enforcement, which is against the law, and it is a slippery road. So it is being done, but we have to now, that resident has rights. Those rights need to be maintained. She can exercise her rights. I don't hold that against anybody, but everybody knows where this is going to end. The board has plans to address it as soon as we have a final date in court. So I wanted to address that to everybody. The second thing I wanted to address was flags. There is a new statute on flags. It was passed in July by the Florida regulation. I will even give out the number. It is 718.113. Flags cannot be mounted on a porch, a railing, house siding, etc., nor hung from trees or shrubs or bushes. You are only allowed 2 flags. They cannot be larger than 4.5 by 6 feet, and they have to be on a flag pole, an American flag pole as designed. I know there's been some complaints about it. This does not address golf carts, cars, trucks, whatever. It only addresses the flags on your property. That is the new statute that came out. We were waiting for it to come out, and it finally came out. You can now also display any type of first responder flag, including EMT, nurses, that type of flag also, police, things like that. But I wanted to give out this new statute here. The last thing I wanted to say was about the storm that we had, or luckily didn't have. Most of you know I work for the county, and the county on Sunday before the storm had an emergency meeting. They had called for non-essential employees to stay home, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I made the decision on Monday morning, actually Sunday night, but everybody wasn't coming into Monday, to go ahead and close the admin office at 2 p.m., close the clubhouse at 2 p.m., and also the guards at noon on Tuesday. Remember, evacuation zone A was a mandatory evacuation. That includes everybody in here. At that time, on Monday, I made also the decision to open up the gate at noon, the Adolph gate, because remember, the Scepter gate, we don't have a key to the county side. That gate was open from Tuesday until Thursday evening when everything had passed. I also asked them to open the RV gate in case they wanted to park RVs up here at the clubhouse. Because at that time, we still did not know where this thing was headed. It did not look good for us. And it just so happened it jaunted, I believe it was probably Tuesday, a little up north way. So those gates were all open. Mike, how long does it take to shut the clubhouse down to do it the right way?
6 to 9.
About 6 hours, even if it goes up to a Cat 5, we have to move
Everything.
furniture, but...
Right. 6 hours to close it, 6 hours to open it. I will say it was a little disheartening to see some of the responses on Nextdoor and Facebook and this book and everything else that we're left unsecure. We have no guards at the gate. Why can't they open up the clubhouse, etc., etc. I took that as very hurtful and disrespectful because the employees that work here are your neighbors. So to me that said that their property and their life was less valuable than yours. Some. And I thought that was very disrespectful because I can tell you this, if it's not safe, if non-essential employees are told to stay home, I consider everyone that works here non-essential. It is not worth it. We dodged a bullet this time. We don't know the next time, and I will not have that and be responsible for somebody to get injured. That guard shack would never pass code today if it was built. The sliding glass doors in there, just so that you know, we're going to get bids on those. They're the original doors to the building. So that is not fair to have somebody sit out there with no electricity, no air condition, in a tiny little shack with the sun possibly beaming down, the wind coming in, and that is why the decision was made. But the gates were open. All the gates were open. And if you heard Greg, because we have a maintenance contract, he was required to come out here and lift those gates by a certain time, and they are locked and the power was shut off to prevent damage and anybody from getting hurt. So we did that. And I will do it again in a heartbeat if we have another storm that comes this way. Jim, did you have anything you wanted to bring up to date or anything like that? I can come over to you.
Yeah.
I'll come on over. And Millie, I know you have. Oh, you want this one? Yeah, here.
Yes, thank you. There was some questions that came on Nextdoor or Facebook. I don't really participate in social media, but I want to read the question and give you the answer. Back evacuation, do we have one? The answer is yes. It's at Scepter and Adolph, and I'm reading these questions and giving you the answers for people who are listening on YouTube and may want the information. Who made the decision to open the gate? The board of directors, mainly Debbie, and code enforcement. Is it to be opened at the direction of the county? No. We make the decision, and for safety, for liability reasons, it was obviously the right choice. Are there signs to show residents how to find the evacuation gate? Yes, we have signs. You've seen them all around the neighborhood. They're the circular signs. We also have a bunch of new signs coming in, so those will be put up in then probably the next 30 to 60 days. Those will show not only where the route is, but when you're taking the evacuation route, there'll be an arrow along with the sign. And then the last question, where are the rest of the evacuation gates? There aren't any. There's one evacuation gate. It's at Scepter and Adolph. There's another gate that the school kids can use, but to call it an evacuation gate wouldn't really be fair. The road isn't such that it could take big vehicles. So in all practicality, we have one. The next question that would probably come up, well, why don't we put another one in? Very, very expensive. So I would say, as you remember from the last meeting we had, I suggested that we pave the road between Scepter and the gate to get out, and that was passed unanimously. So the next time we have some road work in, get some paving done, we'll get that road paved wider. It's not 35 or 36 feet what it should be. It's a small fraction of maybe 10, 15 feet wide. So that needs to be widened and reinforced so that it can be a viable exit gate. And hopefully in the future, it could also be an entrance gate as well, because that's going to be a question that comes up. Well, we have this giant community, how can we get in and out of here with just one gate? So those are some questions.
And just so that you know, in order to put another gate in, we have to do a few things. So I've seen people's responses about another gate. I will gladly have you on a gate committee. You have to do an environmental impact study, a traffic study that is by the county, and you'll pay their price. And we also have to look at the neighbors who live around there and how it will impact them. They might not want car lights coming into them 24/7. We also have to look at the kind of gate. You're going to be coming off of Grove Road. That's a 2-lane road. So you're going to come down there, you're going to take that left into the gate. If you don't get through that gate, or that gate closes, you're sitting there in traffic, you might push a button or whatever kind of gate it might be, you push a button, now the gate's opened. Now, traffic moves, it's your turn, but the gate's closed. Where are you gonna go? Your rear end's gonna be sticking out on a Grove Road, and you're probably either gonna maybe get in an accident or cause an accident. Those are all the things we have to consider. You just can't put a gate in. The engineer study, one study, the environmental impact study can reach 6 figures. That is issued by the state of Florida, and you don't have a say on a lot of these figures. Also, you have to get the neighbors around there, you have to post. They can come up, they can say, hey, no, I ain't gonna be tying up Grove Road. So it's a lot of factors involved. Are we looking at it? Yes, we are. But the first thing that we have to do is get this gate system working properly before we decide to add any other gate systems in it. The second thing that we're looking at is we have the street lights up now at the unmanned gates, is to put in camera systems that the guardhouse can see. So we can see who's coming, if anybody's trying to attempt to come through the gate. So that's the next thing. And then we have to get everybody trained over on the gates. So for those of you who think that we need another gate, we agree with you. But the cost can be in excess of 6 figures. We're talking probably a couple $100,000 by the time we get done with a new gate. Are they open in an emergency? They surely are, because our employees who are code enforcement all live here. And they have access keys to those gates. So I just want to let everybody know that. Millie, you had some things you wanted to say?
Yeah, I'd like to bring Mary Ann up first.
Mary Ann?
Crime Watch. She didn't go home, did she?
Oh, there she is.
Come on, Mary.
Thank you.
Mary Ann Lozelle from Unit 3. Everybody hear that?
No. I'm holding it from.
Mary Ann Lozelle,
Yeah.
Unit 3.
3 and 12.
Again, I am pushing for Crime Watch. We only have right now 7 members out of this entire community. I've been with the Crime Watch for 19 years, and I would hate to see this go down the tubes. I will tell you right off, we are the safest neighborhood in the county. There are 3 new signs indicating that we do have a neighborhood watch here. And the Crime Watch sign goes up on the median as you enter Brookridge, usually 5 to 6 days before the monthly meeting. So there's no excuse for people not to know that there is a Crime Watch here and when the meetings are. Anything that you see in your community that does not look right or feel right, call the sheriff. Don't call me, don't call your neighbor, don't put it on Facebook, don't send it to our deputy that comes to visit us, because he might be away. People may not check their Facebook for a week. So what you're going to do for a non-emergency, you're going to call the Sheriff's Department, which is 754-6850. If it is an emergency, which is a life and death situation, then you call 911. What I would normally do is, if I see something, if I'm going to call it into the Sheriff's Department or 911, then I will call the guard shack to let them know that we're expecting somebody to come on in. But don't call the guard shack first, you're wasting time. Don't call me, you're wasting time. Because they cannot take a third person information. They want the person who is seeing what's going on to actually call them. I have never waited more than 20 minutes on a non-emergency response, which I think is pretty good. I want to let you know that on November the 1st at 9 a.m. at the clubhouse, Deputy Grove is going to give a presentation on fraud. We are the most targeted generation, so be alert. Don't answer the phone if you don't recognize the number. Don't give out any personal information to anyone. Example, I answer the phone. Ring, ring, ring. Is this Mary Ann Lozelle? Yes. I have just given this person access to anything under my name, because I have said, yes, this is who I am. So you have to be very, very careful. The bad people out there are so smart and so tech savvy. I have one person calling me 4 times a day. Her name is Good Shannon. And she's going to give me gobs and gobs of money. And it's like, I don't answer the phone, but otherwise I would say, well, just stick it in the mail. But the calls that you're going to get, your granddaughter is in jail in God knows where, Timbuktu. We need $5,000 bond to get her out. You're worried about your granddaughter, you send them money, they say, oh, well, by the way, we need a little bit more. You know, and it's very, very bad. And the problem with us older people is a lot of us live by ourselves. And if you don't have a dog or a cat to talk to, the phone is the next best place, right? So don't be tempted. If you don't recognize the number, make them either leave a message or let it go to the air. We really need volunteers to keep the Crime Watch viable here in Brookridge. So please join us. The application process is on page 39 of the News and Views under Crime Watch. And what you'll do, you'll go into that site that they give you, the sheriff's site. They will do a background check. They will call you, have you come in, do fingerprinting and a picture, and then they'll call you to come and pick up your card and your shirt. It'll be a different shirt than this one. But I like this. This was the original shirt 19 years ago. And the one they have now is like a non-color, so you really can't see. So really and truly, we are now, like I said, we have 7 members. We have 3 possible new ones coming in, and a couple more I talked to tonight. It's very simple. We're walkers. We go out on our golf carts. That is all patrolling. And you're not on any schedule other than your own. So this is, when I first started in here, they had no guards at night. We asked, could you please have guards go from 11 till 7, and we'll go from 4 to 11. Well, no, they didn't want to do that. So if I was awake at 11 o'clock, I would go out. Maybe from 11 till 3. I got to know the neighborhood better in the dark than I do it in the daytime. And that's what you do. Anything that looks different, anything that makes you nervous, call the sheriff's department. They are happy to come out. If it's nothing, great. And if it's something, they're very happy. So thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
One thing I forgot to say. I think in October, it's either October or November, I think it's October, the sheriffs have a breakfast that is really a great breakfast. So if you are a member, by the time the breakfast comes along, you'll be treated to a great breakfast. Thank you.
Thanks. Jim, one other thing. Did you want to mention, and that we have a donation? Did you want to mention that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Jim got money. Oh, I'm sorry.
Actually, there are a couple donations that I'd like to mention.
No.
Is it on now?
No.
Right-handed mic.
Hello. Oh, there we go. We did get some donations. The men's club kindly and generously donated $100 to the ice cream social that we're having this Saturday, 2 o'clock, so please join us. It is a free ice cream social, so we're looking forward to seeing everybody. So get a little ice cream, some hot fudge, that should be great. They also donated, we bought some chairs for the guard shack. That was a $294 donation, so the men's club generously donated to that. And then today, from the social dance, we received a $1,000 donation. And that is to help offset the costs for some of the fees and charges that we accumulated from the last visit from the fire marshal. So we needed to do a few things. We fixed everything, so we're up to code, but it was pricey, so they helped us there.
Oh, and the ladies club is also giving us $250 towards the ice cream social yesterday. So, yeah. And I know you had remembered I had all said about the AED devices, the defibrillators. Mike got us a price to put one out at the pool area. So we're going to put something out there in case of a medical emergency out there. So, Millie, did you have?
Okay.
Dick, and all these new speakers that you see here, the projector, that came from the men's entertainment committee. So we have all this new equipment here. Thank you.
Okay, as you know, this board really has been working so hard since we came on board with stuff that's come to us, but that's okay, we can handle it. Okay, one thing that I'm very adamant about, probably being a past public works director up in New Jersey and handling traffic and working along with Tracy. I have to sit because I got a bad knee, sorry. Okay, we talk about vendors coming in and out of here every day. And according to our book, Section 811 states that all vendors, whether it be lawn people, anyone that's coming in here servicing this community, needs to have signage on their vehicles. Not on one door, on both doors. And whether it be magnetic or painted on or something. And also according to the rules here, if for some reason you don't have any kind of signage, the guardhouse would give you a green pass. According to what's in our book, the green pass would go in the back of your window or whatever. We see this every day. You have people coming in here every day. We don't know really, like it was said today, we don't know, you know, they could come to your house, but they go to 10 others. And you know, it's not up to it, everything that the guards are trying to do, especially with this new system that's going to be implemented, to know where everybody is at every time. And right now, I'm a stickler on this, on the vendors. I'm going to see if I'm going to propose this and we will pass this, that effective, let's say November 1st, to give a time so that some kind of notice will be given out through the guardhouse to everybody that comes in here that's doing business, that you have to have signage on your vehicles. Both sides, not one side, magnetic, like I said, or painted on, so we know where you're going. And also, a big stickler for mine is traffic cones. Unfortunately, we don't have it in here, but you know what? If you're parked on any street, whether it be the boulevard or any of the side streets, and you're doing work, not just for 5 minutes, like, you know, your deliveries, they're there 5-10 minutes. You are required, we will make it a requirement that once you're stopped, you have to have traffic safety cones, a minimum of 10 feet behind your vehicle. Because so many times, I mean, you could drive right up in the back of their trailers because there's nothing there. You may not, unfortunately, pay attention all of a sudden and forget about it. We're going to make it a requirement. You are required by everyone that stops to do business. You have to have traffic cones at least minimum 10 feet behind that stopped vehicle. We don't need to, God forbid, see anybody. Something's going to happen. So it's not going to be paying attention, unfortunately, or if they're in here, they have to abide by what the safetyness that we want for our residents in this community. And this is what we have to do. So if you guys come up with any other kind of, suggestions or recommendations, I mean, we're trying to do everything we can, but we see this every day, especially the vendors coming in here. We don't know who the hell they are.
And I'm going to open it up for questions. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make a real quick announcement about Kevin coming.
Yeah, for sure.
You hear me? Tracy McCumber, Unit 2. I forgot where I live. Just a reminder, Kevin Frazier, the developer for the project out front, will be here on September 20th, directly following the BOD meeting. The BOD meeting has been moved to 6 p.m. in order for us to get Kevin here at 7 p.m., which will be back-to-back, so we just invite the community to be here. He will speak on, let me tell you what he'll be speaking. He'll answer questions, obviously, but in short, the deviation from out front, I think everybody saw the yellow signs out front. There was a county meeting. What's actually happening, the whole project is actually moving closer to Cortez Boulevard, so that's a good thing for the community. I worked with the development committee today. We have some people that actually live in that area on my committee, so we're working on that. But he will speak to what's going to go in there, what he actually has, what he knows now at this point, what is going to go in there. Any pending county permits, that type of thing. So, just prepare. He'll be here if you have questions for him, but he'll be here on September 20th. But that's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Open the floor. And just so that I know everyone has seen this lovely young lady over here tonight. She is in training for recording. So that's why you see Miss Petrona over here. So she's gonna be dictating 1,000 words a minute. Does anybody have any questions? No? Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to just take this right here? Yeah, it's okay.
My concern, it's kind of, maybe it's petty, I don't know. But the bingo, Friday night bingo, this parking lot is packed. And we as residents, if we want to go to the pool, we have to park all the way at the end of the parking lot to walk to the pool. Can something be done about that? Maybe, can we have some reserve spots?
I was just gonna say, maybe we could look at 20 reserve spots for pool only, or something.
That would be great.
Okay.
It keeps me, I won't go to the pool
On Fridays.
Friday at night.
Okay. And valet. Valet to golf cart? But I can't see why not, even if we just had it on Friday and Saturdays or something, because I know, okay. I do come by here on Fridays, and a lot of times I'll come in here and walk around, and I have noticed that it is getting more and more busy.
And all the snowbirds are.
And yes, and they are anticipating, but they are saying that their new equipment has brought them more customers, which is great because they also pay us a monthly rent. So I can totally see that and understand that. Yep. Anybody else have a question? Way in the back. Oh, you again.
Signage on the trucks.
Yeah.
My pest control, Hernando Pest Control, the owner last year bought for all their employees that come in here. The Brookridge vendor plate, which they display on the front of their windshield. So why can't we have our vendors purchase that?
Well, that's something,
Make the money.
yeah, that's definitely something that maybe traffic safety, would definitely consider doing something. But, yeah, these are the ideas that turn into, how you can better serve our community. Anybody else with any other questions? No?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, oh, okay. The young lady right behind you stood up. Can I take her question first and then yours?
Yes.
You call me a young lady, they're gonna think you pay me. But I wanted to tell you, thank you for doing a great job.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Thanks, we appreciate all of you. And we appreciate the opportunity to be able to sit up here and serve every single one of you. Yes. Ken?
Okay. My question to Millie.
Oh, I got one.
Patrona, put that down. Yeah, take that
I
note.
don't know if I misunderstood you, because I do wear hearing aids,
What dear?
but you were talking about all the vendors that you require them to put a safety cone in the back and
Yes.
front of the vehicles.
Yeah.
What is the difference in hitting the vendor in the back end and hitting the resident in the back end that's parked on Boulevard? There's no difference. I mean, you put your car out there, you put the car.
So the question is, a resident parked on the boulevard or any other street in here, and at night or during the day,